The 2022 World Pro Ski Tour once again highlighted the best head-to-head ski racing worldwide. Rob Cohn took home the men's championship by the slimmest of margins, 1 point over second-place finisher Michael Ankeny. On the women's side, Tuva Norby took home the prize with 2 first-place wins in 2022. The third stop in the 2022 season was once again Steamboat Springs, Colorado. Michael Ankeny made a clean sweep, winning both the Winter Carnival Cup and Moose Barrels Trophy. Rob Cohn finished third and second. And on the women's side, Tuva Norby scored one of her 2 victories in 2022.
Coming down to the final time, it's going to be close. It's Tuva!
It's a new year, and the 2023 season begins in Steamboat Springs, once again taking place at Howelson Hill, the oldest operating ski area in America. Can Michael Ankeny continue his dominance from 2022? Can Rob Cohn reclaim his dominance at Steamboat Springs from 2021? Can Tuva Norby repeat her victory from last year in her first attempt? Can Caitlin Harsh finally break through with her first World Pro Ski Tour victory? It's all coming up next from Steamboat Springs, Colorado. This is the World Pro Ski Tour.
For more than half a century, Seiko has been supporting athletes in their efforts to be the best. Now, we want to bring this reliable technology to anyone striving for a goal. Because we understand, a split second can change everything. Keep going forward. Prospex.
Life in Between Gates is brought to you by Clicker, Celsius, Seiko, Mazda, and Taos, home of the 2023 World Pro Ski Tour World Championships.
I'm John Franklin, CEO of the World Pro Ski Tour and Ski Racing Media, and we're here to kick off our 2023 season in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. We love coming to Steamboat Springs. Where we race is the oldest operating ski area in America here at Howelson Hill, and the course is a great one for pro ski racing. We've got 3-time returning champion Rob Cohn. He was an NCAA champion. Last year in our World Championships, he got to meet the top guys from the World Cup Tour head-on. On tap in this show is to feature Rob Cohn. He's our 3-time World Pro Ski Tour champion. Last year, he won the tour by only 1 point over Michael Ankeny. Rob Cohn, we call him Captain America. He's the strong silent type.
I think I might have been Captain America just from maybe the color of my suit, and it's just classical white and blue, and maybe a red bib, and maybe a necky. I don't know. That's I don't know exactly where the name came from. Some announcers started working with it, and it kind of stuck, I guess.
Number 1 from last year overall. Number 4 qualifying here from the USA. Welcome, Rob Cohn out of Killington, Vermont.
My name is Rob Cohn. I grew up in Vermont, and that's what did it for skiing for me. Ski racing in particular took off at Killington, I traveled to Suicide Six, which is near Woodstock, Vermont, for school, and did some more skiing there. And then after that, I was up to Burke Mountain Academy, Middlebury College, and the U.S. Ski Team. So I had a nice arc of ski racing at some pretty classic destinations and schools in Vermont. It's been a special journey. It means a lot to me, and that's why I continue to do it here on the World Pro Ski Tour. I might have done my first Pro Tour in 2018, and I only did one race that year. It was really all I could fit because I had graduated Middlebury and took a full-time job in Boston. So then I was really, truly a weekend warrior coming up to compete with these NORAM ski racers, NCAA ski racers, and again, I took this knowledge of how to race and train, really just purely race, and it worked. Sort of, I want to say I was third in my first Pro Tour that I raced. I think it was Waterville Valley, and I realized that I could keep doing this, and it was a good avenue to keep focusing on ski racing. It was local in the U.S. I could still work a job when there wasn't snow on the ground. And the following year, I did the Pro Tour, just full on. 2020 was my first year where I had a pretty dominant year that I'm proud of, and won that tour pretty strong. Same thing in 21, and then 2022, I had another win.
It's gonna have to really hustle. Off the final jump they go. It's Cone who touches down first. This all gets a little wild. Combs comes to the bottom. Powers his way to the top of the podium.
Course, the defending champion, back to the top step of the podium after 4 races. It's Robert Cone.
It's a tough dogfight with these same top guys every final, so I gave my all out there. Other than that, battling the soft aspen snow here today, and just pumped to come away with the victory. Thank you.
I like ski racing here at Steamboat. I've had some good results on the Pro Tour here, even some FIS results prior to the Pro Tour on this hill. And I'm familiar with it for that reason, just like that it starts here, and it's just familiarity is helpful. There's tremendous young skiers coming up right now. It's fun to ski with them. I'm now the old guy in the room, and it's crazy to just be that individual now to them. It's interesting to see that they lack some experience in their skiing and their tactics and what they're working on, but they also need to relax, be patient, and they'll get there. And some of them are doing tremendous, but it's just interesting to be on the other side and have my experience, but just be a little more tired, spent, achy at the end of the day compared to when I was that age doing 10 to 20 runs of training a day. There's a lot of great young skiers that are coming to the Pro Tour. They're either coming from the development U.S. Ski Team track. There's some younger college skiers, and as long as they get some consistency and really go with what they know they can do on the hill, they should be pretty fast this year. Michael and I qualified together today. We were just the points leaders at the end of last year. So those points rolled over to this first race. So we had some seeding. We went against each other. We were pretty tight on both of those, and I think we probably qualified pretty close for the finals.
Great rivalry between Rob Cone and Michael Ankeny on tap here in Steamboat Springs.
Yeah, I think I've faced Michael here in the finals frequently here at Allison Hill. I've gotten lucky on a couple of those actually where Michael broke a binding.
No risk, no reward, Mark. Ankeny is going to have to fire from start to finish, even though he has an advantage. Cone has been dominant and consistent from race to race. Oh, Ankeny in the back seat.
Oh, wait, what just happened?
Ski came off, but it almost looked like it was equipment failure or something. There was something that flew down the hill, and Cone comes to the line victorious again, taking the Moose Barrows Trophy.
It was pretty thin against Michael Ankeny, who's been a competitor this whole time as the Pro Tour had a resurgence.
Keeping it simple is all Michael has to do, as he has a half a second advantage going into this run. The big final, everyone, Ankeny and Cohn.
And the last time these two were together, they were on the same track, and Michael lost his binding right off of that jump. But Michael has a big advantage over Cohn at this point. Down through this middle section, they go. Cohn goes down on his side. Michael almost loses it, pulls it back together before the finish, and rides the Pony Express to victory.
He's gone down. He's had some inconsistent skiing, and I think hopefully I can keep being strong and focus on my course and have a good weekend. I think, Michael, it's always the better skier that's going to win. Anything can happen. Just focus on your run, and it'll be a good race.
Allison Hill is one of the most technical tracks the Pro Tour tackles all season. Super steep right out of the start with 20 gates and 3 pro jumps. The time differential from the first run is built into the start gates for the second run. The racer who crosses the line first on the second run will advance.
One of the things that separates pro racing from World Cup racing, pro racing being the NASCAR of ski racing, and World Cup maybe the Formula One, the European circuit, is our pro jumps. Here in Steamboat, we've got 3 jumps. The first one is a 6-7 foot jump where the racers go flying 20-30 feet in the air. They land, make a couple of turns, and then go into a second jump. This one's about 5 or 6 feet tall, and then a small jump at the end. Adds an extra challenge for the racers, and it's super exciting for the fans.
Qualifying began on this early Saturday at Howelson Hill. Michael Ankeny takes us between the gates.
Howdy everyone, I'm Michael Ankeny, and this is the Surefoot course description. All right, you gotta time it with this tree here. Right after the 2 goes away, you go up, and then time it opening. Pretty flat start, but then it rolls over, so you gotta get on it right away. Get on the outside ski, early pressure. We're coming into the first jump, which is the biggest one. Flat ski, get to the ground, outside ski. And then we have a nice rhythm section on the pitch. What you gotta do is you gotta make sure you absorb it onto the ski, and then it gets quick here. So you gotta have quick feet before the last jump. And it's the finish line, baby. Once you reach the line, you look up, you wave, and you say, "Thank you, everyone. I'm here for the victory." That's your Surefoot course description.
Due to how the men finished in 2022, Rob Cohn and Michael Ankeny, one of the World Pro Ski Tour's best rivalries, faced each other in qualifying. Unlike the races themselves, when you go up against your opponent, qualifying is based on the fastest times. But even then, you get the feeling they want to beat each other.
We love that champagne powder here in Steamboat, but it made for some tricky conditions during the qualifying.
Over 15 feet of snow has already fallen in Steamboat Springs, and it's only January. The visibility is tough, and as you can see, they're having trouble getting to the inside in this soft stuff. Great for powder skiing, but not necessarily for pro racing.
But it wasn't struggles for everyone during the qualifying. Recently retired Olympian from Canada, Erin Milzinski, she found her groove early on during qualifying and went on to have the 2 fastest runs of the day combined. She's the Tito Speed Run winner.
Here are some of the highlights for the round of 16. Michael Ankeny up against Keegan Burke. Michael Ankeny won the Tito Speed Run in the morning. He's out in front in the snow, but boy, it's challenging, tough conditions. You saw him lose his arm there. He falls down to the side, gets back up, keeps on charging, trying to keep pace with Keegan Burke. Keegan had a little door open there, but whoa, Keegan's out and around. He goes out. Michael on the inside ski coming down to the finish. Boy, was that exciting.
You know, all these racers, first race of the season, trying to find their legs, and with the tricky visibility, it made it tougher. We have Simone Breifus Camelander on the blue, Mia Kerner on the red in qualifying, and Mia holding off the lead a little bit. Simone getting bumped around, skiing off course, and as you can see, it was tough for everybody today in the round of 16.
After the huge success of the World Championships in Taos last season, it's really exciting to see some European blood come to the tour. Jeremy Legier from Albertville, France on the red course, coming against Jack Reich, who just flew right off the course. And Jeremy Legier will come down through the finish.
It's all thrills and spills here today at Steamboat.
When we return to Life in Between Gates, we sit down with the 2022 Women's Champion, Tuva Norby, and the Women's Quarterfinals.
this year is we've got a great group of new sponsors. I'm John Franklin, CEO of the World Pro Ski Tour, and we're here in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. But we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for our great partners and sponsors that support us, the racers, our fans and followers.
In 2022, 26-year-old Tuva Nordby from Oslo, Norway, captured the Women's Championship by winning first in Aspen and again here in Steamboat Springs. This year, she's looking to repeat her performance to come out on top, not only in Steamboat, but as a world champion by season's end.
My name is Tuva Nordby. I'm 26 years old from Oslo, Norway. I've been living in the States totally for 6 years now. Because when I was 18, I came to ski for the University of Denver. So I was at the University of Denver for 4 years. And then I was actually going back to Norway on the national team and skied for them for 2 years. And then I decided in 2021 to come back to the States to do my master's. So that's kind of how I ended up joining the Pro Tour.
It's going to be Tuva Nordby over on the left-hand side, last year's overall winner, joining bib number 1.
One of my friends just called me and was like, hi, the Pro Tour, it's happening in 3 days. You should sign up. They have their own women's class this year.
The tour has enthusiastically opened its doors to the ladies, with Aspen hosting the first women's tour since 1999.
It's very cool to see that the Pro Tour would put on the same event for women as they had done for men for the last few years. And not even just the same event, but also the same prize money, which is really special and cool, I thought.
Giving the women the green light to win some green, some equal green. The men and the women are competing for equal prize money and on the same exact course.
Last year in Steamboat was crazy. I found myself more nervous here than I had in Aspen. And I got through the qualification again and had like the brackets. I did well and got to the big final. And last year I raced against Galina Waldo in the big final. And we crossed the finish line at the exact same time, it felt like. And we didn't know right away who won, but I ended up winning the second race by 0.02 of a second. So it's nothing. In regular ski racing, it would have been tied. So that was, I don't know, it was a huge bonus. I was just very lucky to even make it to the big final, and to win by 0.02 of a second for me, it was very fun, but I also felt almost, I don't know, 0.02 of a second. It could have gone either way, so I was a little lucky with that.
Here's the replay between Tuva and Galena. Tuva had 1,500ths advantage going into this final run, and as you can see, these two girls neck and neck until a little upset right here from Wardle. That one little bobble was all it took. A couple 1,000ths of a second, not much time, but enough for Tuva to go on and win from the Tough Shed finish line camp.
Very excited about being back in Steamboat. I really hope to see some more women, more girls showing up. We got 8 girls for the Steamboat races, which is very cool, but we would love to see more girls coming out and make it an even bigger event for the athletes, like have more athletes come in. That's really what I'm hoping for the tour in 2023, and just to have a great time with all the sponsors and the people working so hard to get it all set up for us. I'm not gonna lie, it's been a little bit since I've been in Gates, so it's a little rusty the first run, but I did qualify.
A lot of speed. That's not going to be a good run on the second run for looking for that speed run. The fastest combined time will get you extra points as on the red course.
But it was fun. It was awesome. The jumps always looks a lot more scary than they actually are. They're so fine to go over. They just look big when you look at them. So it went good. It was fun. It's fun to be back in the start gate, feeling the adrenaline pumping a little bit. Always, when I've done these races, I'll always have a really heavy focus on the start, get out of the start gate as fast as I can. I want to stress my competitor a little bit. I try to be out there before them so they can see me. The courses can get rough. They can get bumpy, or the jumps can be, you can get like some air on the jumps, but the course is what it is and the snow is what it is. You just have to send it. So I'm trying to not let the conditions affect me too much. Just try to be as fast as we can. I'm definitely keeping an eye on Erin. Caitlin Harsh also looked really good. I skied against her in the quali. She beat me both runs, so definitely her. But there's other fast girls as well, Sonia and Caroline Jones, so it's gonna be exciting to see. And that's the fun thing about the Pro Tour. Anything can happen. Like, even if you're the favorite, you can still go out in the second gate, go out over a jump. Anything can happen. You haven't won the duel until you cross the finish line, that's for sure.
Welcome back to the World Pro Ski Tour. Giving you a look at that bracket, a couple names to look out for the women. Top of the bracket, four-time Olympian Erin Mielczynski. Bottom of the bracket, qualifying second, the Swede, Evelina Fredriksson.
And here is Erin Mielczynski in the blue course up against Rachel DeRocha on the red. And coming right out of the gate, Erin had a fantastic first run, but boy, they are neck and neck at this point on the course, coming down through off the first jump. It's really challenging off that first jump to stay nice and compact and land and turn early. These turns come up really fast, but Erin has no problem pushing it across the line to take that match.
That was a spectacular run by Erin Mielczynski. All right, back up to the top. Second run for the quarterfinals. Caitlin Harsh on the blue course has to make up almost 0.3 of a second.
Challenging to make up that time down here. Caitlin's really going to have to push. Both girls are just about even at this point. Caitlin seems to be pushing out in front of the Slovakian, but the Slovakian speeds it up on the bottom and takes it.
Once again to the top, we have Sunniva Scott and Evelina Fredriksson. Sunniva Scott has to make up the max differential, which is 0.6.
Evelina's never even skied on this hill before, but she looks so comfortable. She's got a good upper body position facing down the fall line. She's a full 2, almost 3 gates ahead. Coming down to the finish line, she will take that one with ease.
Evelina Fredriksson will advance. All right, next up to the top, we have Tuva Norberg, who was last year's Steamboat champion. She has to make up almost 0.5 of a second against Caroline Jones.
Oh, Jones, you saw her go down on her hip. That is just so costly. It opened the door for Tuva, who's actually pulling ahead. But here comes Caroline again. Very powerful skiing from Caroline, but Tuva takes it at the line.
Up next, it's the men's quarterfinals, plus the semifinals in both the men's and women's division, when Life in Between Gates returns.
Here is a place situated off the map of ordinary, a place that is independent, free-spirited, and intimate in scale. A place that since its first lift was installed over 60 years ago has strived to stay true to its roots while growing better rather than bigger. This vision for the future has helped make us the first ski resort in the world to earn B Corp certification. It's a symbol of where we're headed and what we stand for. We hope you will join us.
Introducing the first ever Mazda CX-50.
I like with the clicker that you can go from portrait to landscape.
Clicker, the official wireless accessory of the World Pro Ski Tour. It attached to the back of the phone. It stands upright. It's wonderful. I'm using it. I love it. Thank you, Clicker.
What we love about Clicker is it helps us take our really cute selfies on race day. Smile!
Yeah, what I love about the Clicker is that I can stand at the bottom of any course, have a stable hold of my phone, even take fingers off, and kind of get good perspective on what I can expect for my upcoming race. It's also a multi-season tool. It's definitely going to be out in the golf course with me, teaching me how bad my swing is, how to fix my slice. Pretty cool.
welcome back to another exciting season of the World Pro Ski Tour, and welcome to the City of Steamboat Springs Pro Open.
And this ought to be a close one with only 96 of a second in Teffrey's favor. They are dead even at this point coming into the first jump. Both of them touched down almost at the same time. Coming into this section, it's getting a little wild. Teffrey with his outside arm. Ankeny going a little too direct, but Ankeny pulls ahead. He's coming ahead into this third jump, but he catches his arm and he takes the panel out. Oh, day's done for Ankeny.
And now another veteran, Rob Cohn, must hold his own against another newcomer. Going up against some new blood, the 30-year-old from Switzerland, Rito Schmidiger.
Whoa, Cohn gets in trouble. And he stops. And Schmidiger will advance to the semis.
Yeah, on that last run against Rito, I had a mistake the first run, so I had a little bit to catch up second run, and I knew that, and I was right at the bottom of the course, and as soon as I hit the second jump, I knew I had to pin it to make it to the bottom to just make it up. Hopefully I was closing in on him, but I clicked my skis together or something funky in a rut, and that was it, and I was just pushing it, so that's why it happened. I've been back home in Vermont this preseason, and it's just been rugged, hard surfaces, and that's even what I grew up on, but I should know this Colorado snow better and be a little more balanced and smooth in my turns, and hopefully that'll pay off tomorrow.
All right, next up we have Alex Lieber, the three-time All-American, who has to make up almost 0.3 of a second against the 25-year-old Norwegian Joachim Lindsdahl.
The athleticism to make him get back in the track, amazing. And then Lieber just at that jump just before it had not enough direction, and he's out.
Joachim will advance. Next up, Mia Kerner and Jeremy Legier.
And the flying Frenchman is going to have to make up some time on Kerner. Kerner gets a little sideways, opens the door for the Frenchman. Now they're almost dead even in the middle section. Both of them getting tossed around by these little bumps and rollers in the track. Dead even at this point, coming into the final jump. This is a tight one. Leger gets his leg up over his head. What a photo finish it is, and Leger advances to the semis.
That's the closest finish we've seen so far.
It's been feeling good since the qualification. We'll see now. I meet a pretty good welcome skier, so hopefully I can keep up the speed.
Yeah, it's a tough conditions, rough snow. The jumps are not so easy to do. You have to be stable on skis and let the ski go.
What's your prediction?
Let's go fast and get the bag of money.
All right, guys, best of luck to you both.
Thank you.
For the fourth time in as many years, the World Pro Ski Tour has returned to the oldest continually operating ski area in North America, Howelson Hill. I'm your host, Mark Sassy, and we're so glad to have you with us today. Over the course of the next 2 days and 5 back-to-back races, we're going to take this World Pro Ski Tour thing and kick it into overdrive right out of the gate. All right, back up to the top for the second heat of the semifinals between Mielzinski and Morachikova. Morachikova has to make up almost 0.4 of a second.
Mielzinski comes down through the middle section, nice and smooth, nice and tall, really making some powerful turns. Now she's backing off just a little bit because she knows she's got it.
Mielzinski advancing to the finals. Will she be going up against Tuva Norbe or Evelina Fredriksson?
Yeah, this round was really close. They are dead even right out of the start gate. Tuva is going to have to work just as hard as Evelina, who is ever's going to want it more, is going to win this opportunity. Tuva's going to have to power through, trying to get some energy down here on the bottom. Tuva getting a little sideways and inside. Evelina touches down off that final jump first, grabs the bullet, comes across the line. She will advance to the finals. And both of these newcomers find themselves in the final for the first time.
Why is the sensation feeling so good today?
It feels really good to be on my skis and having a less intense race, so I'm just enjoying it.
And Evelina, I'll give you the last word. What's your strategy for the final today?
Just try to have fun and go fast.
All right, girls, all the very best. Have a great final.
Here's your highlight for your semifinals. We have Teffrey from Norway, Schmidiger from Switzerland.
Both boys are going to have to drop the hammer here, trying to get as much speed. Whoa, he gets a little sideways. Now they're even Steven, opening the door for Schmidinger to probably make up some time. Look at those nice clean turns. Oh, wow, again, Tepper gets in the back seat. He's having a Mr. Toad's wild ride. Coming down here to the final jump again. He's on the inside ski, coming to the line. It'll be Tepper.
What a gritty performance by the Norwegian Matthias Tefre. He advances to the finals. All right, final run of your semis. Will it be 2 Norwegians in the finals? Let's find out now.
Well, it's France versus Norway, and Leger has to make up that time from that bar, so he experienced max advantage to Lindstall, who is out in front by almost a full gate, but Leger is trying to really work the screws on this one and trying to punch some turns down here on the bottom, catching up time, making time on Lindstall. They're dead even almost at this point. Whoa, Leger by 1/1000th of a second, he will advance to the finals.
What's your strategy?
Go fast and just keep the French guy behind me. Go more fast.
Coming up next, part 2 from our sit-down with World Pro Ski Tour's 2022 champion, Rob Cohn.
I started skiing as early as I could remember. I was probably 1 when I was sliding around on skis. I wasn't really doing much until I was 2, 3, 4, 5, and started to become a ski racer. It was one of the only programs offered in the 90s in Killington, and just loved it. It was something I could do all week long growing up there, and then on the weekends, everyone from around New England would travel up, so there's a huge pool of competitive skiers and racers, and it really allowed me to progress. And that was, even when I was young, I was really competitive with other ski racers, and really started there at Killington. I was always ski racing. There wasn't a reason in particular. There weren't tons of offerings from freestyle skiing. There were moguls and snowboarding in the 90s at Killington, but ski racing was just like the most pure and largest group of skiers and competitors, even when I was under 5 years old. So it was natural, but I also loved it. My parents nor friends or any coaches forced me to do it, but it was what I liked to do. My parents just skied a lot when they were younger, and when we were young. My father taught ski instructing at Killington, and my sister was a ski racer. She's 4 years older than me, and I actually pretty much followed her footsteps through all of the ski schools like Burke Mountain Academy, the collegiate circuit, NCAAs, and even the U.S. Ski Team. There's a special environment of ski academies in the East Coast, and there's a few that are ultra competitive, from Stratton Mountain School, Green Mountain Valley School, Burke Mountain Academy, even Killington, and the programs are really growing, and some in New York, Maine. It's a really special environment of ski schools in the East. I selected Burke Mountain Academy because it had a really great group of peers. It was just really a group of skiers that were really focused on development as individuals, being the most competitive ski racers, and just having a nice track to really competitive NCAA skiing sort of as one option, and they're just placing so many individuals on the U.S. Ski Team. Outside of that, it's just a really special place, close to home, sort of 2 hours away from me in Killington, Vermont. But Burke was up there, just great pool of ski racers, and I went to Burke. It was just really impactful on my upbringing through the late teenage years, when you're really growing into your body as a ski racer. And just, I love the environment. I love the coaches, the style of skiing and education. All of my friends and classmates and other ski racers there are really impactful people in my life now, still. I actually felt like my graduating class at Burke just extended into the NCAA ski racing circuit, and I was still with them nearly every weekend, if not training on the same hills to prepare for those weekend races. So it was almost like Burke extended beyond into my college years. It extended because half the guys on my U.S. Ski Team, development team, and C team were all classmates at Burke. So it was as if Burke continued to extend, and with all these racers for like another decade. When I was at Burke, I really enjoyed the transition from like your early it was called J3, but U16 years. I enjoyed the transition from younger years of ski racing into the FIS international ranked system of ski racing. And when you make that jump, you're skiing with 30-year-olds, 25-year-olds, NCAA collegiate ski racers, and you're really just like a 16, 17-year-old making that transition. When I actually started Middlebury in 2010, and I only completed my freshman year, I was nominated after some pretty great skiing with some peers at Middlebury that really pushed myself. I was nominated to the U.S. team, and I immediately deferred, took time off, and ski raced on the development team and the C team. I actually returned to Middlebury, and I was thinking about retiring or just kind of focusing on school, but I kept skiing, and in 2015 I just even continued to have progression in my ski racing and won NCAAs. It was a giant slalom race at Whiteface, and just was awesome skiing. I really remember and reflect on how I skied out of my mind to go against some of these Europeans and colleges from all around the U.S.
Does he have enough in the tank? He's been leading all the way down here, and he is the leader at the finish, where it really counts. Robert Cohn of Middlebury College, our new leader, and it looks like Robert Cohn has Middlebury College. What a great day for him. There's a lot to get him here.
Well, I was considering retiring when I returned to Middlebury after the U.S. ski team, but when I didn't, and I realized that I was continuing to ski really fast and just continue to develop, I realized that it was actually just mental strength, understanding how to ski, understanding how to train, and all of my preparation at Berkman Academy, preparation on the U.S. team, just sort of taught me how to race and train, and it was sustainable. And so I kept skiing, I kept performing, and it kind of clicked that there was a kind of a recipe I had learned over 10 years of skiing prior to coming back to Middlebury and prior to winning the NCAAs. That first year back, that I could keep doing it. This has kind of somehow gone on for another decade now, where I still have that recipe and understand what's been working for me in my ski racing.
When we return to Life in Between Gates, it's part 2 of our interview with 2022 Women's Champion, Tuva Norby.
Here is a place situated off the map of ordinary, a place that is independent, free-spirited, and intimate in scale. A place that since its first lift was installed over 60 years ago has strived to stay true to its roots while growing better rather than bigger. This vision for the future has helped make us the first ski resort in the world to earn B Corp certification. It's a symbol of where we're headed and what we stand for. We hope you will join us.
Introducing the first ever Mazda CX-50.
So another really exciting element here in Steamboat Springs is our World Pro Ski Tour Kids Race, Kids Challenge, sponsored by Alpine Bank. We'll have kids paired up with pros racing through the finish area of the pro race course, and the teams are awarded scholarship money for college, and a great time. The whole community comes out and gets behind it. Kids get to be mentored by the pros.
It's fun to be out here, see all the good energy they're putting on the hill.
I remember when I was a child and I got to meet pro ski racers. It's a memory that stuck with me my entire life.
It's really fun, and it's a cool opportunity to be out here with the young ones.
And hopefully create some of these same memories for the kids of the Winter Sports Club here in Steamboat, Colorado.
Seeing that they get this opportunity is really cool, and I can just see how much they love it. So it gives me energy as well being out here with them.
With a disappointing loss in the quarterfinals to Evelina Fredriksson of Sweden, Tuva Norby has come a long way to achieve success nonetheless on the World Pro Ski Tour.
I grew up in a ski racing family. My mom used to ski race, and she was on the national team at home when she was younger. My dad is an old Nordic skier, and it is pretty interesting because they both went to college in the US, different colleges though. My mom went to the University of Utah. She did really well in the US, and she won one of the NCAA championships one year. So she's an NCAA champion for the University of Utah back in the 80s sometime. And my dad went to the University of Wyoming, but they actually didn't meet until they came back home to Norway. And my dad was a really good Nordic skier. Never won the NCAA championships over here, but he was good. I think he got some podiums and did well. Since my dad was a Nordic skier and my mom was an Alpine skier, they hadn't been in the same competitions or met that way. So they actually met or started dating and got married when they got back home to Norway. So after school. My whole life we've been skiing. We're a very active family. I don't remember specifically the first time I was on skis, but when I grew up, we did both Alpine skiing and Nordic skiing. It must have been around like 8, 9 where we really started to move over to doing mostly Alpine. I remember doing a few competitions in Nordic skiing too, but I remember having the most fun Alpine skiing. I actually remember we have this big final in Norway. It's called the Bama Cup. And the first year where you get like actual ranking is when you're 11. So before that you can compete, but they don't announce first place, second place, third place. But I remember when I was 11 and the first time they would actually announce the winner of the race. And it was in Super G, which I hadn't done speed races a lot, but I thought it was really fun. I wasn't scared, I would just send it hard. But I remember coming down and I had the best time by 3 seconds. And I couldn't really believe it. And I remember people were looking at it, it's like, this has to be wrong. But it wasn't. I actually had just skied really fast and I was like, whoa, I think I might have some talent here, and I do think it's really fun. And I think when you also do well at something, you do have also more fun with it. At least that's how it is for me. So that was a little bit of a aha moment at 11 when I got that. I have 2 other sisters, and the 3 of us started to compete. We really loved the sport. And my dad came around and he would learn how to tune our skis. He spent a lot of hours tuning our skis, learning how to sharpen our edges. So we were very lucky to have him helping us to always have great equipment, and was able to advance faster, I'd say, by having that support from home. It's pretty funny because I have one older sister, she's a year older than me, and my younger sister is 3 years younger, but we all kind of started at the same time. So my younger sister, she got a little head start of us because she got 3 more years to get good at it. So she did the Pro Tour 2 last year, but unfortunately not here today.
Our third matchup for the quarterfinals for the women, heat number 2, 22-year-old from Norway, Kaja Norbe, challenging the 21-year-old from Vail, Caitlin Hart.
My younger sister is actually on the University of Utah ski team. So we've been living together for the last 1.5 years out there. And I just finished up my master's at the University of Utah, not on the ski team, but I got my master's in business analytics. So I'm currently working as a data engineer for a marketing agency. Having the whole family back home, it's definitely nice that my sister is out here with me. But just growing up and I've been traveling a lot with ski racing since I was 12, 13. So I'm very used to being on my own and figuring out things on my own, having the support from home, of course, but not necessarily on hand, like in the same room or same country as I'm in. But knowing that I have their support, I feel it's fine to be away from them. So like I said, both my parents have studied in the US, and I think that's in the back of my head, that's always something that I wanted to do, go to school in the US. But when I was 16, so I still had 2 more years of high school back home, it was actually Henrik Kristoffersen's dad called me and was saying, hi, do you have a minute? Like, have you heard about my new job? And I was like, no, wait, what is this? And he's like, oh, I'm the new coach on the Europa Cup team for the Norwegian national team, and was wondering if I would like to join the team for the next season. And that's not something you say no to. So at 16, I actually got a spot on the Norwegian national team while still finishing up high school. So for 2 seasons, I was skiing around in Europe, trying to get some Europa Cup points, really getting into the Europa Cup. And the goal was to advance up to the World Cup. But after those 2 years, the national team actually cut the whole Norwegian Europa Cup team because there wasn't enough money. So when I was 18, I was done with high school and I didn't have a spot anymore on the Norwegian national team. Kicked off. The next day I got a Facebook message from the coach at the University of Denver asking if I wanted to come over and join the program. So it didn't take me many days until I accepted the offer to come to Denver. And even if I was sad that my Europa Cup team, or my Europa Cup spot on the national team was cut, I was very excited to go to college because I knew that was something that I wanted to do for a long time. It would have been a lot harder for me to say no to a spot on the national team and to choose to go to a university over that spot, but since I actually didn't have a spot, it was a pretty easy choice to come to the States. And looking back at it now, I'm really happy that's where it took me.
Next up, the finals from Howelson on the opening of the 2023 World Pro Ski Tour from Steamboat Springs, Colorado.
Welcome back to the World Pro Ski Tour, everybody. The stage is set for the ladies. It's going to be in the big final, the Canadian against the Swede. In the small final, the Slovakian against the Norwegian. And first up, the small final, the consolation round between Morchikova and Norbe.
And it's going to have to be full send by both girls. You have to ski tactically on the top part. Notice how turny it is up above. Whoa, Morchikova gets off that ditch. She's down. Wow. Whoa.
First run for the big final between Fredriksson and Milzinski.
You're going to have to pull out all the stops. Milzinski comes down. She takes the advantage. Milzinski will win by .261. That'll be her advantage going into the next heat.
Anything is possible on the World Pro Ski Tour. The final run of the small final, Sonia has to make up 0.6 of a second.
Coming into the final jump, it's Sonia that touches down first, and coming to the line, it's Tuva. Wow, what a finish for third and fourth place.
Who is going to make the first big statement of the 2023 World Pro Ski Tour? Will it be the Canadian or will it be the Swede?
And the intensity is high. There is a lot of money on the line. $10,000 for the winner here at the World Pro Ski Tour. Evelina's coming on strong. Milzinski out in front. At this point, coming off the final jump, both at the same time. Coming down to the line, it's Evelina! Wins by 26/1000th of a second. She is the City of Steamboat Springs Pro Open champion.
Now for the men. In the big final, we're going to have the Norwegian taking on the Frenchman. In the small final, Switzerland versus Norway. First up, the small final first run between Schmidinger and Lindsdahl.
Small final, who wants it more? Who's got the hustle? Even Steven at this point on the first few gates, coming into the first jump. Looks like Lindsdahl touched that first, but he gets sideways, off balance. Oh,
Now it's run number one for $10,000 between Legier and Teffray.
Legier is out in front off that jump, but here comes Teffray. He doesn't want to give up any inch at all. Teffray and Legier coming down to the finish, and it looks like Teffray across the line.
In that last run for third and fourth place, Lindstall hurt his back, and he retires for the day. Victory lap going to Reto and earning him $3,000 and third place. It's an all-European final here today at the World Pro Ski Tour. Norway versus France, Teffray versus Legier. Legier has to make up 1800ths of a second.
Oh, get a little wild, get it crazy. Teffray out in front, coming down here to the bottom. Oh, he goes out. Oh, Teffray will become the World Pro Ski Tour champion here in Steamboat Springs.
What a spectacular race. Let's hear from our winners now at the Corbell California Champagne Awards celebration.
What do you think of this Pro Tour stuff?
I like it.
You'll be back for more?
Oh, definitely.
Evelina Fredrickson on the number one spot.
Yeah, but it was really fun. I haven't done this in 4 years, I think. So it's super fun to do it again.
That will do it for this episode of Life in Between Gates. Next up is day 2 from Howelson Hill, Steamboat Springs, Colorado. Can Rob Cohn and Tuva Norby get their first victory of the new season? Or will their rivals and key competitors, Michael Ankeny and Caitlin Harsh, be victorious on the podium? Life in Between Gates is brought to you by Surefoot, DNA by CBS Sports, Tough Shed, Mazda, and Taos, home of the 2023 World Pro Ski Tour World Championships. It all comes your way next time on Life in Between Gates.